Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 guys. So, doing a practice cast again. It's triggering the tournament. Sorry, the tournament is reopening in 5 minutes. So then enrollment is a 15-minute window. I'm going to practice some stuff. I've got some cool new overlays for you all, which I'm really excited to show off and share. So check it out. Basically, I redid everything, but sticking with the same concepts. So what you're looking at is the bars fully properly placed now. I decided that doing the bars in the top middle didn't really work, and I wasn't too keen about. So, yeah, instead we're going from the outside in. You can see this is sort of an even match right now where both teams are roughly matched. I've got markers indicating where the bars are growing to. So it should be far, far, far better to watch now. I've turned off cursor capture for the main thing. However, cursor capture is still on for my minimap. So I can still point out things on the map as far as the minimap's concerned. But my cursor isn't going to confuse the action on the front of the screen. I've changed the colors of the overlays as well. So when we're spectating red team, it's nice. It's clearer that it's red and blue. Both of them were a bit dark before. So the double overlays are a little bit better. And big mini map as well. I've got like, it's a bit subtle, but there's actually a black border around it right now. And the way that it's structured is that it's kind of in the Guild Wars 2 Painterly style. So when we go big mini map, it looks a bit better. I've also shrunk big mini map just a little bit. And I'm changing the way that I'm like doing things. Basically, I'll be controlling Guild Wars 2, obviously, but in terms of windows, I'm gonna cast from the OBS window. So that should be a little bit lower frame rate for me on my end, actually casting from that window. However, in theory, I'll never get caught out with big minimap. I don't know, it is very low frame rate. Maybe I should just get the muscle memory. But yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. That's that. And then also, depending on the talents of CVPCS and how much we can milk out of him and how much he's interested, there are a ton of other really cool concepts that I've still got on the technical level for these streams, which hopefully will be really kind of exciting. So yeah. I've got technical theorycraft to do as well for audio. Finding out what is actually the best audio balances. And I actually think injecting our own music is probably going to be more exciting than what we currently see, which is just the same couple of tracks over and over again. So you probably have environment audio, like you can hear those wolves howling at the moment. But you probably turn off the caster's voice, and then you probably have like dedicated audio for depending on what rung of the tourney you're in. Do you remember when we were doing the 2v2, 3v3 tourneys, 1v1 tourneys in guild halls, and I would put my music in the finals? It was a lot better. We could do that, and we'll probably borrow different music from Guild Wars 2, obviously. But there'll be ways that I can set that up as well, so that that's actually all automatically happening too. I can just, from OBS's side, I can set up different things for different rungs. So with all of that done, and again, depending on how much I can milk out of CVPCS, we can get some other really cool stuff going on. And I think it slowly builds to a very good monthly show. There's also a large degree of other things that need to be concepted and settled on by the community, such as role designation and things like that. But that's kind of a different topic for a different moment. But yeah, so I'm excited to do this cast. I think it should be really fun. I've shored that up a little bit. I've just got to go sort some stuff out. The tournament opens, just to be clear, anybody watching this, you can enroll in 2 minutes, and then you'll have a 15-minute enrollment window. So I'm casting EU. I need to swap to EU. I'm going to be casting this on EU today, because hopefully there'll be more active people over there. But if you guys want to play, please do enroll for the EU one. And if we have any groups that are watching this stream that sign up because of this, we will follow your progress throughout the tournament. And then follow whoever beats you or watch you take the grand prize. So, yeah, that's the idea. And if you guys set that up, you've got 15 minutes. So you've got plenty of time. Over 15 minutes, actually. I'm just going to quickly go to the stream starting thing. And I'll see you all in one moment. Don't go anywhere, guys. It should be fun. Alrighty then. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let's change our potato. Because listen, the potato is a good potato, but this one's a better one. There you go. All right, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. WTF is that? What is this? What's going on in chat? Did you guys set up a team? It'd be very cool if you did. Let's see what people said in chat while I was away. Good morning, Wahoosh. Yeah, an early stream. This is actually a bonus stream. This is not a normal stream. This is just I'm practicing an AT. Dosty says let's form a team so WP can spectate us. Yeah, there you go. Boom. EU. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Get it going, EU people. I'm swapping to EU right now, so you can't see the game just yet because I'm relaunching it. But yes, hell yeah. Who is Cine says I'm not good enough. It doesn't matter if you're good. You get like 10 gold just for trying it, man. Do you not want 10 gold? Ectos are not worth much anymore, my friends, so you may as well get the raw gold where you can. And PvP is one of the places that puts raw gold into the game. And I'll tell you, these PvPers, these pure PvPers, they don't deserve it. You deserve it. Get some of that money in your own pocket. They're just going to waste it away. I watched a stream where someone gave away about 400 gold for a Renegade tournament, okay? Right, just on a whim. They got too much money. They don't understand what it's worth. You do, my friends. Get in there, play a little bit of the tournament. PvP calls you. I call you. Yeah, go on. There you go. I admire your enthusiasm. However, unfortunately, I must decline. I only have NA accounts. You have multiple accounts, but they're all NA. Why would not make a single EU one? You need 4 people. Oh, it seems like it's just Dosty that's trying. Everyone else is turning them down. It's because they don't respect you as a trap player. That's the problem. Yeah, bonus stream, Mad Minds. It's good to see you. Him raving. There you go. Look, look, look. People are doing it. Ripped in. It's EU, guys. Just tell me who the account name of the person that queues for your team so that I actually know who to spectate here. I'll go over what I just said a second ago as well. So now that we're back in game, we're on EU. Let's check this out. Yeah. By the way, I changed the hair of my Rev, and I was looking at my Reaper, and I was looking at lots of different skins, and I've come to the conclusion that this is the perfect Reaper look. That there is actually not a better looking Reaper that you can get in all of Guild Wars 2. And I know I look a bit like a Revenant or whatever, but I look like a boss, and you guys have all got to admit it, with the yellow face there. Actually, we should make that more of an orange face again. I think it's just the colours of this area, alright? This is too good. Let's go back with Sunfire Lava. Oh, no. On the face. There you go. Boom. Beautiful. You cannot beat this Revenant look. This Necromancer look. This Reaper look. Shit. What's wrong with me? Oh, my God. The mathematically perfect Reaper look. Indeed. Indeed. Now, you're not going to be seeing any of this sweet-ass looking character. I've got to take my shirt off. It's too hot. You're not going to see any of this sweet-ass looking character today because we're going to be spectating other players. But I expect to see this good Fashion Wars 2. This actually reminds me, when I'm spectating, is the game smart enough to turn off standard enemy models or no? We should look into that, because obviously, when you're spectating, having the flavour of the players there is probably more important. What have all my previous casts looked like? Have they all had standard on so you don't get to see? Because when I queue, I play standard enemy models. Let's just disable it. Does everyone count as an enemy, or does no one count as an enemy when you're casting? I guess I'll leave it on and we'll check in a minute. But yeah, so the tournament that is at stake right now, guys, that we're going to be practicing here is Balthazar's Brawl. It starts in 5 minutes. If you just try, you get extra PvP rewards that you wouldn't have otherwise. Now, the truth is that not more than 16 teams are going to join this daily. So, in all likelihood. So, because there'll be less than 16 teams, you're also guaranteed 2 PvP potions and 5 gold, alright? And some QP. You're also extremely likely to get 5th to 8th, which just means you get 10 gold. You play one game, you get 10 gold. What more could you ask for? If you do reasonably well and you get into the semis, you'll even get 15 golds. If you take second place, 20, and you get quarter of 100 gold. There you go. We make it sound as big as possible. Quarter of 100 gold, guys. And 5 Mystic Coins, which is even more money on top. And look at all this dye. That's good for you Fashion Wars 2 players out there. Look, dyes. So, yeah. I guess him raving says he's got 4 out of 5 people in his team already. So, There's not going to be anything else. But yeah, so just to recap on what I said a second ago, guys, I've updated the overlays and stuff a bit. It should all look a bit more professional. I've actually sharpened Big Map as well, so it looked really low res and crappy. And the truth is, it's still really low res and crappy, but I've sharpened it, so it sort of counterbalances that just a little bit. We've got the border going on the Big Map. We have the so important bars that represent where the end of the game is for the scores that fill in. So yeah, it just all generally looks a bit better. It's actually all, you know, it's not like just randomly scribbled onto the screen, which is what I'd done before. So yeah, you got that. The true enemy is your inner demons. Is that true? Is that really true now? Let's go. Oh, I've also turned off the cursor. I mean, everyone who's here 2 seconds ago know what I already said, so that's fine. Let's go, in the meantime, to just spectate some 1v1s. This might be a fun thing to do in the downtime between, Oh, wait, what? This is 1v1s, right? Oh, no, this is a farm. What the hell? EU does the farms a lot heavier than NA does. What is going on, guys? Jesus Christ. Are there any 1v1 arenas? This is a 1v1 arena. Here, let's go watch this one. What's a good way to give feedback on WP's casting after watching VODs? Send me a whisper on Twitch is probably the most accessible one if you're doing it live. If not, Reddit message, tweets directly at me. YouTube messages even I'm trying to pay attention to. I can't spectate the 1v1s. What? Hello? Why would you do that? I'm not allowed to spectate 1v1s. EU, get your shit together. What's going on here? Here's another 1v1 arena. So yeah, any of those. There we go. We can spectate now. All right, so let's watch Barris over here. Barris Bolter. So it's a warrior. One's got a hammer. That's kind of funny. I kind of want to see. Okay, so we got a barbarian. We've got an ice barbarian. This is okay, he's moving on. This is like the joke Reaper setup, being an ice barbarian. We'll see what he does. He's just flipping through amulets right now, probably doing a bit of buildcraft. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna get some Moam. 1 sec. All right, I'm back. Well, vaguely, sort of. Make a match and we'll join you, says Royal. Well, just join this. Join this server on EU. Join Reels 1v1 Arena from Real Blood, the guild. Just join that. We've got 2 minutes. Wow, has it already been 15 minutes? Got 2 minutes to enrollments end and the tourney starts, so actually it's probably not even that important. These guys aren't even fighting. Should we spectate the daily? Shall we see what the builds are of the people who run dailies? That might be kind of interesting. What about Discord? Discord is okay, but my Discord gets really heavily spammed. Wow, they don't let us spectate in here either. Huh. Amazing. We can spectate people's fashion wars. He's running the Toxic Shoulders. Does not look as good as us. Oh, I've got to come in here. Am I, like, going to get banned from the server by doing this? Oh, but I'm a Reaper, guys. This is, like, the dream for the Reaper. Look at the kills we're getting. Look at this. Get the well up. Get the well up. Oh. Are they going to get really bad at me? Get the Warhorn. We got to mitigate. Yes, we're back in Shroud. Oh, my God. So good. So good. So good. We're scoring kills. Oh, no. Don't rally them. No. Come on. Oh. Rest in peace. Look at how low they all are. Oh, my God. I just got 112,000 damage in about 10 seconds. That's a lot of damage, guys. That is actually nuts. All right, yeah, anyway. Look at all these people who would rather do this than actually play the game. Absurd. So what, I'm just supposed to run out and let them kill me, am I? Wow. Well, this makes me want to vomit. I'm not going to play this. Jesus Christ. So Dosty managed to get how many people for the Spud spectate crew? 1. That's a bit depressing, isn't it? Don't give up though, Dosty. I like that you're trying. I really do. Alright, I'm going to be unprofessional and eat on stream here. 15 seconds. Woo, here we go. This is why EU win trading is more prominent. Yeah, I mean, NA barely uses hot joins at all, but when they do, they're at least doing 1v1s. Blue wins. I mean, the fact that there's so many players in there right now as well says something else, that it's like, Like, to get 16 players all day doing that, when each individual player is only going to be in there for, what, a couple of minutes tops. It's pretty nuts. Is Power Reaper any good? It's like a middle-of-the-road build. It's not the best in the world, but it's okay. Sorry, guys, I will stop chewing this in a second. There you go, so Balthazar's Brawl. Who do we watch? Oh, there's quite a lot of groups here. Who do we want to watch, guys? Tell me in chat. Sig, Melody Chan, Branabor, Aya Moxie, Luana, Beta Mesh, Zarkon, LP in the End, Suffish, Handgo, Phoenix, Light Shiver, Agent Cronus, Manuel Silva, AFCB or Carrix. So we got a suggestion for Sig in Group 1. We got a suggestion for Suffish. What else have we got? If there was a new expansion to come into the game, what would I like to see? Fishing. Tengu. A new playable race in Tengu. That's the highest one on the list for me, I think. Alright, we got 2 votes for Suffish. We'll watch Suffish's group then. Alright, they've just started. Wow, we're going into this really quickly. I've got to finish eating. What? God, this is so chewy. 20 seconds? My God. Okay, so alright. We're going to be watching Pig Iron? Yeah, we're watching Pig Iron Puddlers. They currently consist of a duelist druid, a bruiser, jack of all trades. What do we call this? The demo Mesmer builds at the moment. But they got a demo Mesmer for sides as well. They got a bursty Mesmer for team fights. They got a Scourge for team fights. And they have a warrior. It's a very sturdy composition without an actual Firebrand support. But it's sturdy as all hell. It is the first round. If these guys are good pilots, we'll see that they do well. Let's watch the opening splits here as we move on in. We will watch the blue team's perspective. Probably the most interesting build to watch here is going to be the Scourge. So you see that they're playing a 3-point cap game. They're actually sending one warrior to far while they get their druid on close. Druid is going to be aggressed here by a Necro. I really kind of want to watch that. So moving away from this, what is this Necro build? He's a Reaper. So we do have a Reaper Druid 1v1. Let's keep an eye on that. We're not going to look at that for too long. Going back to the mid fight, the red team is actually being dumpstered. So the mid fight's already done. All right, let's go back to the 1v1 then actually, because the 1v1 is going to be more interesting. Blues won the mid fight. Blue is successfully stalling on far as well. Reaper is not doing well at all against this Druid. What variety of Reaper is this guy running? He's on a Zerk Amulet. So why he went to a 1v1 on fire on a Zerk Amulet, I don't know. This Reaper's going to lose this, even if he resustains for a while. We'll watch the fight the whole way through, though, because zipping to other areas of the map right now probably isn't going to mean much. Blue won mid, and now they're snowballing with pluses too far. So, to blue spawn, sorry. Now the Reaper has also been plussed because his allies lost the mid fight, so he goes down. We see that the blue team has the luxury of taking this plus on a Scourge, who is fairly immobile. The Scourge can move back to mid now, and I think that we're going to see the blue team might even ace here. The ace the chance for the ace is very real. Their guys are progressing along. There's the trip cap coming in. So red is now the clear underdogs. So let's go to the red base. And let's see what they can actually do in order to come back into this game. What we need to see the red players do, really, is group up as they come out of spawn here and make a push somewhere. A proper push. They're going to the enemy's close point, which probably isn't a great push to do, but at least they've got 2 of them together. The only way red comes back into it is with this fight here. You notice the red did a folly push over here. If these 2 respawning players we just saw actually went to their close instead, they could have maybe saved their Elementalist from dying, but they didn't. The Zerk Amulet could do tons of damage. If he played this well with his greatsword, the Zerk Amulet could absolutely blow people up, but he has to play it well. He double taps his Infusing Terror, which isn't a good idea. He really wants to sustain from that, if anything, in my opinion. We can see that he's struggling quite a lot. Being free cast on by the Druid. They scored neutralization, so well done. But with no kills, it's really not looking very good. Can Bam do anything now that he's outnumbered? Can he get a res in or anything like that? Doesn't look like it. He's dropping traps as well, so Spike Trap down here. Bit of a struggle. He stealths himself from Trapper Runes, so that's kind of nice. He stealths himself again and Super Speed. He's starting to kite away. Looking to support his friend here who rotated in at some point. This thief who's very low. I'm pretty sure that Bam's dead. Yeah, as we just saw, Bam is dead as soon as I stop spectating. Moving over to the skirmish on the red team. His job right now would be to score neutralizations while the enemy's back is turned, thus splitting the enemies, allowing his red allies to regroup and secure a team fight. But he's not been capable of doing any of that so far. He's actually looking to take a 1v1 on a clone. The clone does indeed die, so pretty big plays here from Covert Heismer. He pulls out. He does not assist his allies as they go for the fight. And I think, yeah, the ace is very real. I can't commentate this seriously anymore. Red actually has nothing at any point. And yeah, all right. So there you go. We get to see the Pig Iron Puddlers go through to the next round. All right, what do we want to talk about in the meantime, guys? You hope for new classes or weapons for the next expansion? Oh, Illusionary Road gets bursted. Where did this damage come from? Hello? I was looking at chat. Where did that come from? That was huge. Oh, he goes straight into the trap. I like it. He's going into the trap. Oh my god, but the spam is too much. Too many greatsword things. So, Blue here doing a pretty good thing. This is not BM from Blue. They're ending the game quickly by pushing through and actually taking the Lords. So they're going to get 150 points. It's at this moment, guys, I want you to look at the top of the screen at that blue score bar, because the blue score bar is going to rocket up to 500. Blue has crossed the threshold of having 350 points, which means they instantly win the game if they beat the Red Lord now. You can see Red Lord taking insane Condi pressure. That was 15 bleed, several torment stacks on there. The stomp is coming in from the player we're spectating, the Druid here. And with that, the blue team wins. So congrats there to the blue team, the Pig Iron Puddlers. They go through to the next round. Commiserations to these guys. Looks like the Reaper was the one to do the most damage on the team and score the most offense procs. Meanwhile, it was their... I don't remember what this class is anymore. Someone else got... I mean, probably like a Druid or something, right? Got healing and revives. I didn't see that one res go off. It must have been the mid-fight at the start or something. But so, Pig Iron Puddlers, well done. And we'll see how they do on the next one. Yeah, 5-4-2 to 0. I think I made that quite entertaining by... filtering in a little bit of good old British sarcasm. How bad do you need to be to lose with 0 freaking points? Not that bad, actually. You got to understand there's a big difference between bad players, sort of bad players, mediocre players, sort of good players, and excellent players. There's an enormous difference. At every one of those rungs I just listed, the team above it will ace the team below it. Seriously, it's a very, very, very true for Guild Wars. There's like a steep hill to climb to get good at it, right? And so you see this kind of stuff happen a lot. And this is the early round of the tourney, obviously, so any kind of matchup could occur. Yeah, Blue was playing better, basically. Blue wasn't necessarily playing insane. You can't say they were playing insane. Once you get a solid lead like that, you don't have to play very well at all anymore. But yeah. So, we've got that going on. We're looking for Suffish on the next setup. In the meantime... So let's see here. Balthazar's Brawl has already finished its first round. So this is all round 2 stuff going on now, actually, isn't it? Pig Iron Puddlers is here now. Were there 2 Pig Iron Puddlers in this tourney? ArenaNet needs to add more placeholder team names, because you shouldn't have 2 teams with the same team name in any one tourney. So there are 2 Pig Iron Puddlers. But one of them just got knocked out. Okay, so there will only be 1 towards the end here. So yeah, that's fine. I guess we just have to wait. This game will have been in progress for a long time. You think for various reasons over the past few seasons, PvP's become too fast? I don't think that PvP's become too fast at all, no. I think it's about the same speed as it's always been. In terms of rotating, yes, I think you get a bit more speed between nodes, and that means maps feel a bit smaller. But in terms of deadliness and stuff, I think the game's about where it always has been. Disclaimer, you haven't PvP for 2 years. Well, about 2 years ago, the game was very slow, so that might be why you have that opinion. But in terms of general trending, I don't actually think it's that much. I think that there is a limit to how fast PvP should be. Definitely one Adalem. I don't think the faster is always better. Especially from, like, a casting and a story perspective. Like, you guys in chat, like, you should be able to get a good show out of it. And you can't get a good show if it's too chaotic and crazy and fast all the time. So, like, the slower respawn, slower movement speed, stuff like that makes the game more readable from a casting perspective. And I think that stuff's very important. But yeah. All right, so let's just watch this game, I guess, while we're waiting for Suffish, I suppose. But they are our main thing. So it's actually fairly well matched right now with the blue team in the obvious lead. The main story right now is the red team, such as this Fresh Air Ellie, needed to win this node, and they did. They got the neutralization at least, and he gets the good burst. Excellent. I hope... yeah, his opponent is off node as well. He could actually technically rot that. I suppose he doesn't. He goes for the res on Blue Sky, so that's great. So Blue actually recaps this. This is really good. They're looking for some momentum now. Blue Sky is going to move forward and needs to win this mid fight. Now, unfortunately, it's a 3v2. He does get on to prevent full cap, so that's at least something. His Fresh Air Ellie comes in for the plus with him. So it's a 3v3. Let's watch the Fresh Air Ellie's perspective. If we want a good game, we want Red to win this engagement here, right? Because then Red secures their close. We can look at far later, but Red wants to win this team fight. He takes some decent damage. He's got a good target on the enemy thief there. That's not too bad. Now he's looking to hit someone else. This Rampage Warrior, is that a Rampage he's looking at against right now? He gets the kill. All he needs to do is Swelling Winds over it and go for the stomp. He cancel casts his own Swelling Winds. He's going to get hit with a hammer. He didn't even get hammer here. Okay, so that's fine. Good stomp there. Jumped by the enemy thief. That was really good from Epic. So Epic gets the kill on the Fresh Air Ellie. He's going to Vapor away. 2 dead blue players. There could be a big rally here. Let's see if the rally goes through before the Shadow Step Stomp. Big mistake from Jinx there, who goes for a res through a Shadow Step Stomp instead of Counter Cleave. So one of the red players does... actually, neither of the red team rally here. So this is pretty good, actually. So Red will take this engagement. And some stuff actually went back over onto the road. So you notice that Sneaky, one of the blue players, instead of staggering into mid, is actually reclaiming that close node for the blues. So pretty bad for the blue team. They're only now just reacting to it. It is a very fast thief. He moves in, he holds it neutral. The thief doesn't really want to hold this 1v1 for ages. He just wants to delay it until his plus from his Fresh Air Ellie comes in. So let's watch the Fresh Air Ellie go in to burst this Scrapper and get him the hell off the node. Unfortunately, the node did flip. This is really bad with 400 points. Look at how close blue is to winning this game, right? So this is really, really deadly that they managed to get that full cap. The counter cap comes in now. Let's see if Blue Sky can actually stay on the nodes and re-neutralize. The re-neutralize is delayed at the last possible second by the blue Scrapper, who is now taking a lot of pressure for it. He's very low force into Elixir. That's the neutralization. That's exactly what we wanted to see. But has Red over Zerged here? You may indeed believe so, because if you have a look at the mid-fight, they don't have anything to prevent this cap. And if we have a look at blue spawn, they don't have anything to prevent this either. This Guardian that you can actually see here is doing excellent in some ways, because he knows that the win condition is just to hold this based on maths alone. So that's pretty bad. Blue also secures this. And did Red already win the fight? Yeah, but maybe a little bit too slowly. So let's watch and see how Red accomplishes this here. Neutralization went through in mid. I don't know how that happened. We missed that. Pretty crazy that that happened there. Jesus Christ. But Red has to win this hard now. And then maybe we might even need to see a Lord push or something. Very conservative play, by the way, from the Red Scourge here. I do not agree with this Scourge waiting around for as long as they did. They really need to be at the fight. Now they get decapped. This is basically the win here. Great play here from Epic. This Thief getting the decap in time. That basically eliminated Red's win condition. What he's done there is prevent them gaining points, but also locked Blue Sky out of the mid-fight. Thus meaning that the blue players here can't do anything. I mean, they've got a Fresh Air Ellie who's being asked to sustain this. They do get a downstate. It all comes down to this Red Thief scoring some kind of a Shadow Step Stomp or something. He doesn't. A res goes through. Doesn't look like he quite knows what he's doing here at this node. He also now needs to delay this full cap, which he doesn't. This is now a folly play. He's going into a 1v1 with the Druids. We see that blue regains mid. All blue has to do is hold this node. Win condition is this. Red needs to off-seat this. Let's see if they can. And I think it's very unlikely right now, guys. So, a bit of back and forth, honestly, on this game. Well, kind of. If this hadn't got... This was before we started spectating. But if this early area... Oh, me not having the cursor is kind of bad because you can't see what I'm talking about. But if you look at the bars, if early in the game that hadn't gone so sour, Red was holding it in. But congratulations there to the Schoolmasters who beat out Tyrion Swarm and move on. So good little game there, actually. All right, moving on. Let's go back to Suffish's team. Looks like they've been seeded, probably, actually, here. Looks like they've probably been seeded. So this is round 2. We're now moving on to Forest of Niflhel. This game just began. I don't really want to spectate this one, so we're not going to. We're going to watch one as it actually begins. Let's leave this here. We're gonna actually look at the comps and stuff and have a proper game. Stop saying Jesus is pronounced Dwayna. Maybe that's why what PvP's been missing in terms of cars. Shit, you guys haven't had game audio the entire time. Wow. Maybe that's what's been missing from PvP. People haven't been, like, infusing the lore into the casts, right? Maybe that's the secret sauce. People only watch me for lore. They're not going to come to these weird practice streams about this PvP thing they don't care about. They want lore, guys. Lore. So maybe we should talk a little bit more about that. What is this? Why a shaming? They played versus players who play PvP for hours each day. I feel like every stream I do, someone comes out with this comment. Is it just people being fragile, or am I genuinely being a dick? I don't think I'm being a dick. I'm just pointing out misplays. A misplay is a misplay. It's not shame. It's just the fact, man. That's what happened. If I don't point out why one team is winning and why the other one isn't, what are you just looking at? Spam on the screen. I don't think I'm shaming anyone. I think for various reasons... Oh, no, I read that earlier. Wow, chat is not really moving. I suppose that's to be expected, though. All competitive games are becoming faster and faster. It requires players to get better, and it makes it more entertaining to watch. At least this is what MOBA experts say. Do you think? Did you know that in Forest map, the Char in the concept art is wearing heavy heritage armor? No, I didn't. That would be a very strange bit. Oh, you're responding to someone in chat. Okay, fair enough, Lidimp. I feel like the Niflhel should have a silent L in the middle. Niflhel? Yeah, how do we actually say it? That's probably something I should learn and know, right? We're waiting for the Pig Iron Puddlers to start the next game here. Should be in just a second. But yeah, I do think that there is a cap to how long games should be and how fast they move. Like, in actual truth, I feel like the Conquest maps, if they were all about compensating for the current mobility in the game, if they were all about 20% bigger than they are, it would be a really nice balance. And that would counter the power creep of all the mobility that's in the game at the moment. It would also, it would affect balance too, by the way, obviously, because certain mobility-heavy characters would be better, essentially, right? Please do call people out when they make misplays. I watch these streams to learn and get better. There you go, Rim. No worries, man. You aren't a dick. They should actually make the Underseas dragon named Steve. Sorry. Are you infusing lore into your comment there so it's a real comment? If you think about it, Steve is a very oppressive name. What? Your comments there feel a little bit like they've been randomly generated by a bot. Yeah, Jeb said you should try and call out a good play. But, like, it's not always that there was a good play. So, a thief is shadow step stomping someone. And instead of trying to win the rally race, his enemies try to res. So, do we compliment the shadow step stomp? Well, sure, but that's like a no-brainer, really, isn't it? Obviously, she's got a shadow step stomp. That's not anything particularly exciting or interesting. The exciting or interesting, the notable thing, is that one of the teams fucked up and went through a res when they could have won a rally race. You know? So I feel like it's not always possible. But point out the good play, I don't know. Elmdale says, I promise I'm not a bot. There you go. Not for new people who you are partially catering to. That's a good point, actually, there. Alright, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, yeah. Maybe we do point out the shadow step stomp. Because maybe that blows new people's minds. What am I eating? I'm eating Moam pinballs. The full-on chew. Nothing chews like a Moam, and there's so many Moams to choose from. Full-on chewing, full-on flavour. Full-on till it's all gone. Moam Pimbles. Oh, the great chewiness of Moam. Listen, I should actually be legitimately paid for that. That was a straight-up advert here on this Guild Wars 2 PvP stream. Moam, get in contact with me, man. Guys. Company. I want free Moam for life. Right, here you go. Starfish is up. They're in round 2. Game starts very quickly. Starfish is over on the blue team right now. They're moving out. We see that one of the warriors crosses extremely quickly. Let's watch this. He's crossing over to far, as you can see down here. There's also, back here on the roads, something pretty interesting going on, and that's the blue Mesmer also was aggressive. This is a crazy opening, guys. Look at all the players all over the map. Nobody's really... What we're actually looking at is a mid-fight here. Huge pressure coming in on Chris here. Hopefully he can bail out. Blue does manage to establish themselves on the node a little bit better. Also, really nicely, their Scourge is positioned right here. Able to use the portal to get up. That's brilliant. So we have a 1v1 on far, a 1v1 on going on close, and a 3v3 here in mid. I guess we will watch the 3v3. Looking over at the blue Mesmer here. Seeking to do some damage. They're over a portal. So this guy can't actually port out. Pad is off, takes to the roads to flee. Pad can port back in to decap this node soon. But yeah, so blue wins the 3v3 essentially because they got full cap. So blue will start to win this game instead of red. They currently have the upper hand as well in terms of numbers here. So I think that we'll see this continues to be sustained. Moving over instead to this side of the map, we can see the red thief is looking to make a play. Oh no, never mind. He's coming back towards mid now. Let's see what he can do. So he's running Pistol Whip. I don't really think that's going to be too good. He really doesn't want to be the one pushing this engagement. Pad taking massive damage as well as he flees away. Blue secures the solid 2 cap now. Finally, red wins their close node also, but they've just had a kill. Oh, rally goes through. How did the rally? I missed a rally. Something happened up back on the node that I missed. So Pad does go down to Chris here, which is not too good. But red has actually managed to sustain up here at the mid fight. So that's kind of good. Let's see how well they can continue to push this fight. Warrior stays for the full cap. Mesmer rotates around to Graveyards. He's looking to get that kill on Illusory Rogue. He misses it. That's pretty bad. Does he get the full decap here? Doesn't look like he will. He's in on a bit of a fight here against this warrior. I don't think he's going to kill this warrior. This isn't going to go too well, but he has a plus coming in from Pad, as we can see. So this 2v1, if the red team can secure this 2v1 really quickly, we'll see that they can get back into it. But right now, Blue's playing very well with a split 2 cap. They don't care about mid right now. So neutralization goes through. That makes this a higher value engagement. But red really overcommitting to this, in my opinion. Red has 3 players here. Let's see if they can make any plays. So the portal opens up from easy work. Red goes through it, back to the mid fight. And they hope to make some kind of play over here now. With these portals, this could be pretty interesting. Really huge plays here from red. Really, really, really nice. They get neutralization everywhere. They're holding the enemies far. They're close. Instantly lost it to a portal from the red, so that's pretty good for the red team. Fights take out towards the road. They managed to get a burst down, so that's excellent. Rez goes through. They didn't have the cleave for it. Can they put the blue Scourge down again? Red's still at an excellent point in the map right now. Pad goes back to plus the 1v1. This is a defensive plus he's making here. If he can get here before neutralization goes through, that's going to be really nice for the red team. He can take advantage of this plus as well, because if you look, the blue team is 1 player downstate right now. So they get this because blue is staggered. Excellent kill here. He scores recap value, and he's going to establish his portal. And then he's probably going to follow his team back over towards mid with his Thief rotating off. So Thief seeks to get some kind of big burst here and reclaim this. He's offering pills for his low warrior here, who's back down towards the graveyard. Looking back over. Blue doing very, very, very well here to manage to keep the lead that they gained in the earliest moments of this game. So very excellent. We see that the Mesmer actually manages to score decap. That's really strong. So blue has sides. Blue once again in the winning position, given enough time if they can sustain this winning position. Sustaining this winning position is going to be a little bit hard when they have this Mesmer 1v1 going on, and the red Mesmer was already low on cooldowns. He's also holding it on far, right? So he has respawns coming in. He's forced to leave. He does have a portal established, so he can make some kind of a play with that a little bit later. Looking back towards the mid fight. No neutralization landing here. And blue wins this pretty decisively. Red does a really good bailout, by the way, here. Red down here on the roads as they're a little bit low. We can see that they are going back to reinforce this engagement. Watching the warrior. Bit of a useless portal now. Pad's portal here. Actually, that wasn't Pad's portal, was it? It was someone else. That's an enemy portal, I see. Right, he's already popped his. So red pushes very heavily for this engagement now. They are down their Scourge. This is such a flighty, roamy game. It's kind of hard to actually follow, right? We have neutralizations on both sides. Interestingly, red Mesmer is going to go and try and debunk the blue Mesmer. Red losing this engagement. Big burst came down on the Guardian, who's not going to be able to get any kind of res. Great positioning here from the blue Ranger, who we can spectate for a second, and now can sustain this node for a while. And red has pretty much decisively lost this engagement. The last player that was here was the Thief, and is finally bailing. Really, the Thief should be the first to bail. He gives a bit of pressure on the warrior here on the nodes. As long as the Thief is here with the Druid and the warrior sort of holding his attention, this is kind of high value for his team. But the warrior is wised up immediately, and he's moving on. So good play there from the warrior. Warrior is seeking to make a play over at the mid engage, which isn't going too well for the blue team right now. Blue team is fairly low. And we know that these Mesmers have got a hell of a lot of damage. So they're aiming to... I mean, I don't know why he's making this play here. So this Mesmer is going for a decap. If he can get it, then he could port back to mid and make a play. As it stands, though, I think that this was a bit of a waste of time here from Easy Work. He's put extra pressure on his team now. Let's see how the Thief can afford pills to his extremely low allies. Look at the warrior, very low. Messes up the jump to kite around the mid. He's being aggressed by two people. Where are his team, he's asking. Beautiful little play here. This is what I'm talking about with EU. He goes on the statue to kite. His allies are wise enough to know about it and even stay there with him. He uses it that time to resustain just a little bit. He has full counter up. This is excellent here. Even being shot by the enemy ranger from across the map. Really, 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 really gross. And him kiting around like this has been great because it actually means that red scores keep. So red is also managing to sustain over here on their spawn very well. Beautiful plays here. Really, really, really fun. I'm enjoying watching this an awful lot. So this outnumbers pretty good. But they don't want to have it for too long. Really, I think Easy Work is going to be seeking to rotate off very soon. Let the Warriors 1v1. But he knows his Warrior's low because he's had so much crap to deal with for so long here. Idly stands around recharging power lock. Total interrupt bait there. Pad comes back through the portal. This is excellent, guys, from the red team right now. Red team genuinely racing their way back up to equalize, maybe even take the lead here. But they give up the decap so easily. Oh, pretty unfortunate. The other unfortunate thing is their Guardian actually is only just rotating in now. He's not a support guard, but it is a bit frustrating that he'd been on his close point for so long. Let's see if he can land any big bursts here. He's seeking to get up onto the node because he doesn't want blue to get full cap. And check this out. We've even got a little bit of a play going on towards Beast. With this Mesmer, who's actually going for it. He's going to take the Beast. None of the enemy team is in position to actually interrupt this. So this is going to be an even bigger gap close here for the red team, as long as the mid engagement isn't lost in the meantime. And I mean, this is a hard fight right now. We've got the core guard desperately trying to get away to save his life. He pops his heal. He needs to do some pressure, but he goes down on the road. He doesn't really have any support from his team. Finally, the Mesmer that was taking Beast comes back through. They used the portal, so that was a very efficient Beast play. Goes in with a big burst. Actually puts the Scourge down, who does not rally on the core guard, who was dead from a second ago earlier. So red is well and truly in this. We're watching sort of the comeback, but as you actually notice, blue still has sides. I think that the extremely conservative plays from the blue Ranger here has been costing blue a lot of these other engagements. He's just standing around. What we can actually see here is this core guard on respawn is going to push the fight. If he can get this sneaky, it's great, but he doesn't realize he's walking into a respawn as well. And it's this this Scourge. I don't actually know how core guard versus Scourge feels as a matchup, but I feel like the Scourge is favored. Obviously, he's outnumbered. We got to see a neutral go through here. Neutralization didn't land. That's really bad for the red team. And he needs to be kiting around as well. He needed to leave yesterday. So horrible respawn here from the Core Guard. Really did nothing for his team. And I think that we're going to see Red seriously gets punished for that. We need to see that Red makes a good play all the way over here on this side of the map instead to make up for that poor Core Guard play. But neutralization hasn't landed here either. We have a Mesmer build trying to depunk a warrior that... I mean, does this Mesmer build actually accomplish this well? Oh, he's actually doing... see, the Greatsword 4 doesn't actually manage to get too much damage in there. Another shield stance running through. I think we're going to see easy work probably go down here. It's a difficult 1v1. It definitely is. Red is on a defensive fight over here at mid, by the way, and I do think that they will win it. But without sides, time is slowly running out. Let's see easy work bail out of this with the portal. I mean, they established the portal. How greedy is this from easy work? How greedy is this? This is crazy. Is he actually going to win the 1v1 after that? Of course he's not. He needed to leave. Very, very punishing. Even if he'd got the down state, Ranger was in position to rotate in. Yes, Red has mid. We already knew this. But where are the plays happening on the other nodes? They're nowhere to be seen right now. Currently, we've got the Red Thief being harassed on the roads. If he can turn this into decap, he actually might. It depends if enemy team has a portal established here. And I don't think that they do. So this is at least something. But this is more of a stall play. If we're going to see Red make any kind of maneuvers here, it might be a beast-related one. He has to take a 1v1 that, again, I don't think he's really going to enjoy very much. I mean, he's running Pistol Whip. So how much can you do? The mid-engagement is still clear, and this one's just rolled up perfectly fine as well. So as long as Blue has this node, we're going to see Blue win this game, okay? Unless Beast is killed, and Red has a... Red needs to win this 1v1. And they also need to kill this beast here, Chieftain, for even the slimmest, most remote chance. So it really all comes down to this side of the map. We can see at the graveyard actually, at mid, they did manage to sustain it. Blue Ranger rotates in too late. Blue Mesmer's coming over. You can see they're actually taking the fight towards the Chief here. Good burst. Really genuinely very excellent. They've even got a good enough position. I mean, unnecessarily getting feared there. He could have immediately stealth stomped that, in my opinion. Maybe he's going for rot value. Time is ticking. Tick-tock, tick-tock. We could also see, at this point, this Thief go for a decap. But again, I think he might be a little bit too late. Red Warrior, instead, is the only one that's noticed his win condition. He's pushing through. He's going to be 2v1. He's never going to debunk this Druid. And with that, I think we will see that the Blue, after a very good game there, secure the win. They got an early lead. They sustained it. Chief did just go down, by the way, guys, as you can see over here. But it was too little, too late, I'm afraid. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They do have some pressure in now. They do have some pressure. Let's see Pad with the crazy Mesmer Deeps. See if he can actually get this Druid off. He's got about 6 seconds. It's impossible, guys. It's impossible. So, close game. Well fought on both teams. The portal bail was unnecessary. And red team fill up their scorebar. Sorry, blue team fill up their scorebar. So congratulations to the Pig Iron Puddlers on their next win. Have a look at the timeline. Look at this. Look at the red comeback that was in progress. They were close. They really were. And that was that portal beast that really closed that a bit more. They just couldn't quite sustain it. And so we see the Pig Iron Puddlers go through again. Tick-tock, the mouse went up the clock. Time swallowed it all tail and all. Have we got any rockin' monkey jams for this epic cast? Listen, I do want to set up music. I think audio is a really important part of this. But it's sort of something you do secondary to some of the other stuff. So, yeah. I mean, a good close game, honestly. You've been trying to get into PvP again, but damn, you're so rusty. I hope to learn from these streams. I don't know whether I'm giving you enough, like, observation of micro at the moment in these streams. Like, you see some plays, maybe? Maybe? I feel like I need to be over the player's shoulders just a little bit more. But we tend to be focused more on the broad story of the map, right? I'm going to turn my cursor back on for the regular game capture. I think that it's a little bit better when I'm looking at timelines and stuff, so there you go. You get my cursor back. There's no enemy team. It's either red or blue. There kind of is an enemy team. If we're following a group as we go through, we can say that... Well, I tend to say, when I say enemy, it's just whoever is against whoever I'm over the shoulder of. So I find myself constantly watching the underdogs at the moment. Like, we were constantly watching Red there, because Red were the guys that needed to make plays to win the game. So that makes the enemies blue, in a weird way, because we're watching so much Red. Do you get what I mean? But yeah, okay, so Balthazar's Brawl. Let's see the next match. So we are on to semis now. Selfish are going through to fight against... the Pig Iron Puddlers are going through to fight Dragon's Despair. They're against Agent Cronus. And hopefully we'll actually get in early enough to watch matchups and builds and things here as well. You need a super fancy countdown screen between matches. Good. Oh, candy ads. Hell yeah, I'm going to eat another Moam Pinball. This stream sponsored by Moam Pinball. That's what I need. That's what makes it look professional, right? Dude, so much of, like, success is lying, right? And looking like you're successful even when you're not. So, what we do is we put fake adverts on all of the Guild Wars 2 AT casts, and people will be like, oh my god, there's big money in this scene. Yeah, sweet. I'll play this game. They'll think there's prestige there, because they'll think there's advertisers involved when there's not. So yeah, set up some fake ads as well. What should we do, guys? What should we set up fake ads for? Alright, here we go. Revenge of the Capricorn. So, the guys we've been following are over here. They got Great Sword Mesmer for the bursts. They got a team fight DPS carry on their Scourge. They still have no formal support. Bruiser Warrior, or Duelist Warrior, sorry, I should say. Duelist Druid. And another Bursty Greatsword Mesmer. Meanwhile, they are against a Duelist Druid, a Skirmishing Thief. I don't know how really to assess the Rampage Warriors. They can be pretty good teamfight damage. And double Scourge. So Red has an extremely aggressive, vicious teamfight. They get those Rampage and Scourge plays down very well. We're going to watch one of the Mesmers as we open up here. The Pig Iron Puddlers on the blue team. And let's see what the opening splits look like, shall we? So you like that sharpening, guys? That comic book style looking sharpening? Looks good, doesn't it? Right, so we got Duelist Warrior taking close on both teams, with a 4v4 establishing in mid. Watching these Mesmers playing very aggressive, moving directly into enemy territory. You see the red team bundling together very, very tightly over there. Making sure they don't get early burst. Blue team Scourge is well overextended. They blink out. Just like that, blue team takes a capture point. Blue team Mesmer is also overextended now. They don't have any good fight. Over here, we've got the a small engage going on as well. Between Illusory Rogue and one of the enemies, who's now been plussed by the Warrior, who's capped his close. Warrior being pushed all the way back to his close here. Will the neutralization go through? It looks like it won't, so Unknown Thief rotates off as well. Back over to the mid-fight. Red winning the mid-fight here. They managed to get Posey down, the blue team Scourge, so that's a lot of the blue team's damage gone. Pressure taken to the SD Thief, who needs to really bail out. He does that finally. We see red team takes double cap. That puts blue on the underhand now. Blue on one player on respawn. And one of the blue Mesmers also extremely low here, trying to pull away from mid. Being hunted by the enemy Thief. SD is going to come in. He's going to give himself that plasma. Good little blurred frenzy there. Is it enough? He's got the temporal curtain to interrupt any kind of nasty play that comes a second ago. SD Thief is in a pretty dangerous position here because he's on enemy spawn, so he's been jumped by the respawning Scourge we saw die. And Thief over aggressive spawn and gets punished hard for it. Meanwhile, looking back towards the mid-fight, we also see that Red went down on their Scourge over here. So Blue will actually secure a double cap out of this because they've got 2 kills and they even managed to get full rot value out of one of them. Looking back over here, this is still sort of the mid-fight. We've got the red team fighting for their lives to actually sustain. But they're going down pretty hard here as well. So Blue will be securing their 2 cap now. And we see Blue starts to take the lead. After basically 3 red players made very questionable decisions here. I probably shouldn't be on spectating the body the whole time. We do have a res in progress, but this is like so unlikely to land, right? So we're actually watching lots of these players go down. 2 red players dead. Reses do go off. What is this? Was that blood? That was Well of Blood, guys. That was a double res for the red team there through Well of Blood. Him Raving manages to rotate off. He's actually going to get neutralization there, which is really solid for him. Looking back over to the red team here, who, if they can secure this fight, they will be back in the lead. Free casting Scourge. Absolutely none of the blue players attacking this Scourge right now. So he's able to just rain hell. He gets an easy kill on the enemy Scourge, the blue one. We watch 2 down states here for the blue team. This is very good for red right now. So red lost it a little bit there because of some aggressive plays, but now managed to recoup all of that just because in these team fights they seem to be doing very well. Bell has spawned, so we're going to watch the fight take over towards that now. We have the red druid sustaining over on this very well. That's pretty much perfect. It looks like we're seeing the red team sustain the Bell while the rest of their team actually go for a plus over on their close node to 100% secure this, as you can see happens there. Now the Scourges will start rotating in. You can see good Necro player here is just moving along. If he doesn't kill this enemy Ranger, he's just going to drag it over for a big team fight now. Neutralizations have landed from the blue team on the other nodes. And really beautifully as well, just over here, you can see that 1 week Chris has managed to get this neutralization. It's interesting to me that he's going for full cap on an enemy spawn while Bella's in play. To me, he should be rotating to Bell immediately. But it actually looks like, because he doesn't do that, red is going to manage to get this. Let's see how Unknown Thief does. Oh, we got the Rampage coming out. Oh, my God. Very meaty hits here. Oh, my God, he goes down. So Blue's going to win the Bell. Excellent stuff here from Blue. Blue reclaims their claims full cap on close. But like I said, right, like they put all their effort into claiming this node, and now they just immediately get decapped. Like, what's the point? They get Bell anyway, so who am I to speak? This is a very, very, very close game here, guys. Moving back towards the mid fight now. We can see both teams are going to be fighting for their lives over this. Interesting little 1v1 going on at red spawn, where the red Scourge is having to fight a blue warrior for it. The blue warrior can actually win that, and indeed it looks like he is. Blue warrior is winning that pretty heavily. But a plus is coming in. Let's actually watch this. This plus right over here. Cronus coming in to help his Scourge out. Oh, I was looking at the wrong Scourge. There were 2 Scourges. Okay, that's fine. So red current underdogs. Red are down on point score, and they're slightly down on node positioning as well. If red can win their close back here, this will be really strong for them. They are outnumbered. He's not going to get his Scourge res. Coming around to kite on the boxes. That's excellent. Moves back towards spawn so that he can get support from Volcano Dream. Volcano Dream just YOLOing into 3 players here, though. Very questionable. Where you can see that he takes the crazy Condi pressure. He only has a single warrior as an ally right now. It's not going to be enough. Blue aggresses this node extremely heavily now. And they portal out. So really, really strong plays here from Blue. And they are going to continue to reclaim this. Chrono fighting for his life on the roads here as he flees. He's got that Torment on him. He swaps his weapon to cleanse it with his Discipline trait. I'm guessing Bell will be respawning in just a second, which is why we see him here. Over at the blue spawn, red has their reverse cap here, and they're sustaining it very well. Unknown Thief, though, this is a mobile class, really. He doesn't want to be caught fighting a Mesmer like this. He can kill this Mesmer, but killing the Mesmer and not getting debunked is going to be pretty tricky. So, yeah, he pulls out. Red got free cap on Bell, as we saw there from the Warrior. So, red resustains themselves a little bit in this. And red also having this secure cap here in mid. They're very, very, very aggressively holding this. And their Scourge is actually looking like he's taking major heat here. He barriers himself. He's looking for the next Well of Blood. It's interesting that he's actually running Condi Scourge with the Well of Blood. This had a cooldown drop recently. He does manage to fully sustain himself with that. Which Ami is he running this on, by the way? Yeah, it's Sage. I thought it was Sage there, based on the amount of barrier that he had there. So that's all well and good for red. Red got the Bell. They got mids. But what about sides, you ask? And that's what I ask too. They're basically being forced, if we have a look all the way over here, they're being forced to have their Thief 1v1 this Mesmer for, like, days. And he just can't make any accomplishments. He should blink away there. Okay, he blinks onto the nodes, takes a little bit of decap pressure. Really, he was forced between a rock and a hard place there because blinking away from the warrior was nasty. He definitely wants this res. Blue puts massive cleave down, and red ultimately are not actually able to get that up. The rampage forces blue Mesmer away, though. Blue Mesmer's still rotating off. He could come back and slam this kill out, to be honest with you. But I guess he's not interested in that. He's going for a plus instead on mid, and it looks like he's got an easy one. Let's see him raving as the plus comes in. Does he manage to sustain? This is a very sustaining build. Utilizing sword to pull away. Not only does he pull away to resustain here, but he also could have helped his ally. Excellent plays here from this Druid, holding the attention of 2 red players for long periods of time. And just helping his team to maybe be able to afford to do something else elsewhere. He will eventually go down, though. Let's see how long he could stay on this. This is not the best node for kiting around. Interrupt on the Troll Unguent, and so yes, he does indeed go down there. Red team ports back out. Does the res come in from Unknown Thief? Or a rally race being won? Nope, certainly not. This Thief has just been very, very caught, unable to make any good plays this game. He gets the kill on the Scourge, I would hope. But now Blue actually has full cap here, so he gets very little value out of hanging around in this fight, really. So moving back over here, we can see a 2v2 in progress. A 2v2 that the blue team is actually winning right now. Scourge is a little bit low and being split a little bit away from his ally here. But he knows he needs to get to Bell. So we've got a 2v2 over Bell. I think that the blue team is favored for this 2v2 as well, to be honest with you. They've just got so much cleave that they can throw over this node and sustain there too. All they have to do in general is delay this. But, very interestingly, red has actually managed to secure sides now. So with sides, red is slowly winning. If they can delay this, Bell as well, red's coming fully back into this game. Both teams feeling fairly sustaining right now. We see a blue Mesmer go down. We also see an excellent neutralization happen here in mids. Unknown Thief actually going for full cap, it seems like. Camera freaking out a bit. I don't know why you would. I'd just let him come here now. Like, go plus the Bell and secure the Bell fight. That would be so good to swing this Bell really heavily here. Red is steadily starting to lose Bell now. It's Cronus's and him Raving's job to get their Scourge up. They managed to put the enemy Scourge down. So red will actually win this as well. This is going to be huge for the red team now. When this Bell goes through, if it does, we'll see red take a big jump ahead. Don't forget, we're a little bit late in the game, and the subsequent Bells actually start snowballing points a lot heavier. Engagement over here on the far point. On the blue spawn, sorry. I should describe it as. I'm still messing that up, routinely messing that up. Stays neutral. Both teams recognize that it's the Bell engagement that is so important. But every second that this happens, finally a neutralization goes through here from 1 week Chris. Again, these are really important. But no sooner as they score that, they also score one in mid. So red is now no longer winning. There you go. So red does get Bell. It costs them neutralization across the map. But by securing the Bell team fight, it puts them so close to the end of the game. Look at how little points they've got left to score here, guys. So few. So basically, if they can recap this node here, which is their enemy spawn, to be fair. But if they can recap this, they can play quite conservatively here. Score a few kills, they might be all right. But this has not gone well for the red team whatsoever. Blue fighting for their lives. We could actually see blue pull through on a trip cap here. It really depends. Red Thief is pushed away from this. He does sustain. If the red thief goes down here, this is a massive moment for the blue team. That absolutely means that they could be in a winning position. This thief needs to peel away from this Mesmer. Does he manage to? If he can peel away from this and score neutralization at the same time, we might see he makes it. 2 Infiltrator's arrows coming out of the extra initiative from Roll for Initiative. If he gets this neutralization, if Illusionary Rogue cannot get to this is really good. Illusionary Rogue does get to it with Illusionary Ambush, so once again he's pulled away. I think that was an absolutely worthwhile attempt at a play there. So red's still not able to actually manage to secure anything. Blue's done very well here with their Warrior Druid matchup on red spawn. Once again, how did this neutralization happen? Was it a portal? Bell up again. I mean, this is what's fun about this map, honestly. Bell just comes up again and again and again. So we have another fight. Now red is scared. If blue wins this, they are going to be laughing. Blue will win the game with this Bell. And currently, blue is in position to win this. They have more numbers here. Himraven's the only guy that's actually sustaining it. They take safe stomp here with the Trail of Anguish, which is excellent. They want to get that as fast as possible. Red needs to get on this, but look, all they've got is an SD Thief. Blue zerging away. I can't believe that blue zerged away from that for as long as they had here. They could have literally just stood here. SD Thief tries to delay the cap for as long as possible. Finally now, we've got the Scourge coming in. Scourge didn't get in on time. Bell flips, and blue takes the win. Excellently played from blue team at the end there. That was extremely close. That's a really cool game here. That last Bell was what it all came to. But look at this plateau here from the red team. They invested so much into this Bell that coming out of this and being neutral across all the maps and they couldn't get back onto any nodes, I think really ended up costing them the rest of it. Fun game. That was probably a really difficult one for me to catch what was really interesting about it all. But yeah, what do we think, guys? What a cool game. Is there salt in chat? Yeah, well, what are they being salty about? Let's have a look-sees here. Let's see what people are angry about. Let's see. Tryhards. Can't even win with that shit set up. Holy shit. Wait, so what? What was so cancer about the red team's setup? Because I'm French? Because he used voice chat? Well, whatever. Anyway. People seem to be nicer on NA, guys. So that was a really cool semi. You're matching the scores to score count backing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. That was cool. Little feedback. Your analysis of how fights go is pretty good, but you need to talk more about how kills around the map impact pushes and fights. I think you also need to try and have a little bit more awareness of what's going on the entire map. Can't catch anything, but you don't want to stay fixated on one thing and completely miss what's happening on the nodes. Yeah, I get your advice there, but I also don't want to be flitting around so much that you never get to see any play at all, like, ever happen. Because, oh, we're over at this node, and now we're over at this node, and now we're over at this node. That feedback is probably worth more, Roy, if you tell me specific moments in that where I could have been looking elsewhere. But obviously the entire thing is a struggle of seeing which node you should be at and when, right? So the finals are going to be Suffish going through against Sigurdil. WPV Naru would be good. Why? Why are you calling us two out? That's kind of interesting. There's a lot of Naru streams with me versus him. The game would always match us against one another, basically. If it ever matched us together, it was just like a slam dunk win. So the matchmaking would always put us against one another. And I always had the upper hand because I was playing Fresh Air earlier against Scourge. He missed a really nice decap in the first part of the match after red capped mid. Okay. I don't know how tangibly I can use that, though, because, like, if I missed it, it was probably because there was something going on with the fight, right, that I was looking at. Anyway, so here we go. We got our team, the Pig Iron Puddlers, over on red. We know their composition. We don't have to talk about that too much. Meanwhile, we have a Rampage Warrior. Dueling capability, good team fight pressure. Paired up with a Scourge Firebrand for the mid fight. Proper support Firebrand. They're actually fielding double Scourge. And then finally a SD Thief to round the comp out. This is very, very safe composition here. Nice, strong. The only suggestion I would have would be like subbing maybe one of the Scourges for a Chrono. That would be like very, very, very deadly. We're actually seeing the SD Thief is swapping. So we'll see that what they run to instead. But I can see how this comp gets this far in the tourney. How do I see SD Weaver in PvP? What are their pros, cons? Their cons are just they're a little bit weak, but it's a side noder in my opinion. It's a duelist build. It doesn't actually have too much like AoE support or pressure for like being team fight oriented. It's not really fast enough to be a +1 role. So I think it's a duelist, but I think it's a worse duelist than you find. So here you go. Actually, they are running. They're fielding a Mesmer here instead of an SD Thief. They've probably... Why have they made the decision, I wonder? I'm not entirely sure. But so we've been watching throughout the tourney. Suffish's team, so that's what we'll do here. Most interesting person probably to watch is... this Mesmer here with the bursts for the mid-fight. So we can see side splits already. We're looking at Mesmer for the blue team, picking up their close. Mesmer's going to get on quicker because of his mobility. And we're going to look at the Druid Duelist picking up the red close. It's going to be a 4v4 in mid. Do keep an eye on when these close node holders reclaim their... rotate into the mid-fight, sorry. So red support in Blackjack there pushes up, making sure that he tries to get a little bit more of the aggro. Mesmer starts free casting off the side of the nodes. Take massive pressure onto the blue team. Their Scourge gets hit hard, being re-sustained very well by the blue support. They dropped a Sanctuary on the node. That's kind of interesting. Sanctuary is actually very good against Greatsword Mesmers, by the way, because the Phantasmal Berserkers just get completely destroyed. You'll notice that the... we've seen that the fight's taken to sides here. With the blue team, Mesmer immediately pushing up and holding neutralization. And on the other side of the map, we've seen them take it as well. They bail back through the port to mid. Blue has secured this. Red's finally got their close and they start rotating in. Posey taking big pressure here. Does he get pills? Does he get any support? He gets support from Blackjack, who gets off the nodes. Pretty excellent. So we see that red team will establish their Firebrand Scourge combo on the node now. And that means that over time, red will actually score all the decap they need for this. Ghastly Breach goes down. They force everyone off. Massive Condi pressure. Look at the Condis on the blue team right now. This is all pressure from Posey and Blackjack here. Blackjack needs to get some more heals down. Look at all this life force, but none of it can be spent because of those new Scourge cooldowns. And we see that ArenaNet's balancing actually starts to do something. So Posey goes down. Blackjack can't offer any more support there. He's alone for now. So they actually don't manage to secure that just yet. We've got a plus incoming here from the red team versus the blue warrior, who, as he's outnumbered, tries to bail away. He doesn't bail away in time, so that's excellent for red. Red securing that gives red double cap on sides, as long as this actually goes through here.
Did you see that? Red team got a capture point.
Blue support completely caught alone now, just being free cast on. He can't do anything. So the blue support being split away from the crucial allies of his, like Lord Joby. Look at how low Lord Joby is. Lord Joby goes down, and it's because their support wasn't in the right place at the right time. Red doing extremely well now. Red in a very, very dominant position. Moving back over to this side. We've got this warrior very much outnumbered, but sustains it well, actually gets out onto the roads. He's going to look to come back in or even go through this portal. So they take the big team fight. If red wins this team fight, they have a brilliant 2-cap on this side of the map. So red is actually in the winning position right now. They have the territorial control. Warrior immediately pushes into his enemy's spawn, his enemy's half of the map, drawing the blue team back. Blue team now can't make a concerted push into mid and try to swing that back through. This is excellent from the red team here. This warrior is doing exactly what he should be doing. Dueling, applying that pressure. He's actually doing a lot of damage while he's at it here. So we're looking at the blue team here, I think, should be trying to resustain. Amazingly, though, if you look all the way on the other side of the map, blue has invested one of their Scourges to solo push. He's got the neutralization as well, so fair enough. These guys have actually managed to do this. He's got his Rampage come up too. So we're going to hold that. Let's see if Lord Joby can actually stay alive before he gets to a worthwhile engagement. Or harassed to hell on the roads. He doesn't get harassed to hell. You got that 1v1 will probably linger for a while, so we don't have to watch that too long. How does Scourge deal against this Greatsword Mesmer? Surely he just gets pressured down. Doesn't quite secure neutralization. That would have been really nice if he did. Meanwhile, red won their team fight. Well, not really a team fight. They were outnumbering really heavily. So red's going to be bailing in on this node very quickly here. So Joby does score the newt, but for whether they get the full cap, it depends on if Blackjack gets there in time. I think he did. Yeah, Blackjack got there in time. That's excellent for the red team. They can continue to snowball away from blue here. Blue bails out with their portal, but they bail from one hot engagement to another. It's just so split constantly. EU's game seemed very, very split, very chaotic. Ghastly Breach was pretty much a massive waste there. I would have liked that for the upcoming team fight after they secure this. But blue currently playing for sides, right? Like, this is what we're actually watching. We're watching a blue fighting for this side, and meanwhile, they're hoping to win a 1v1 over here. It actually looks like they might. This warrior could actually end up killing this druid. I don't know how this matchup goes now since recent balance. It should still be fairly even, though, right? So if they win this, it's just they're not going to win it in any time soon, and this warrior isn't going to get a plus anytime soon either. I mean, look, they're even pushing for the mid now, right? Like, I'm not quite sure why you would do this. Maybe he can make a play. If he can neutral here, then we're going to look at a tug across the entire goddamn map. This is a very explosive fight, by the way. Swordsman goes out, but no emote to lock his opponent into it. Kevin gets pushed off. I think Kevin's going to die here. Blue losing that is pretty huge. That puts a lot of pressure. Blue, in the meantime, is losing this engagement as well. 2 of them down. They've got Lord Joby still up, but what can he do? Very little, it seems. He takes the kite under the ramp. But so here we saw blue lost one of the sides. They lost mid as well. He's unlikely to get anywhere anytime soon. So blue dead all across the boards. Thankfully, they do have one thing going for them, and that's that this blue 1v1 is still happening here. So God of Wind Trade does still hold this neutral and continues to go eye for an eye with the druids. But now that the rest of his team's all dead, we're going to see pluses come in, right? So 1 week Chris comes in with a plus. He uses Rampage to peel out. Purely for the mobility on that. That was really nice. Stays on the roof so he can't be jumped. Great line of sight on a no blink spot there. We're actually seeing genuinely really good play from these guys here. But the rest of his team's let him down, unfortunately. The rest of his team's let him down. Let's go back to blue spawn here now. And see how blue can push out across the map. We've seen that they still haven't got their close. And we see that they're now here looking for mid. Let's watch the support as he goes in. So this support's job is to keep his DPS alive. Score neutral here. And actually win an engagement. The blue warrior has been holding 2 for ages. He's finally peeling out. So blue manages to score the kill on the Scourge, which is great. They get the full stomp down. Beautiful 100 blades. Look at that 100 blades. Oh, that's so good. Blackjack may actually go down. That is so much pressure for Blackjack to eat. He does go down. So blue is actually winning this team fight pretty substantially. They got 2 kills out of this team fight. Now they can snowball to far. That's exactly what God of Wind Trade seeks to do here. He can't be aggressed too well by this druid because the druid's very low. Neutral won't land, but he might win this. So blue wins the team fight. Problem is, it's his enemy spawn, right? So Posey died. Hello, Posey respawns. So I liked the idea. I liked the impulse from God of Wind Trade here, but he's not just +1. He's going to be +2 in a second. Once Blackjack gets in, this support... Oh, I mean, what can blue hope to do? They need this neutralization. So another big team fight. If blue can win the 2 team fights back to back, it's going to be very strong for them. But can they? And let's see how this goes. So red, Ghastly Breach lands on the node. Sanctuary. I mean, how much use is the Sanctuary right now? Probably not too much. Scourge Firebrand v Scourge Firebrand. Blue definitely in the worst position. Monique getting very, very, very low. This is going to be super attritive. And with a Monique landing there, we got to watch to see if Equia can actually secure some kind of res. They're doing well. Ghastly Breach goes down from the red team, though. With that Ghastly Breach, I think that we're going to see that the red team wins this matchup. They didn't get neutralized at any point. Blackjack taking the stomp here. Posey already pushing out towards mid. And the red team's going to fight to hold this neutral. Red is currently winning, right? Because they're the only point securing any points. They even have the luxury of outnumbering over at this node here. Oh, no, it's not outnumber. It's just another 2v2. But I want to watch the mid fight. I want to see if this can go anywhere. So Posey takes full cap and is left behind. Once again, God of Wind Trade going for these 1v1s. Constantly 1v1ing on far. These would be high value plays if he'd neutralized it for any of them. And I know it's very important, but if he can't neutralize it, I mean, what more can we say? He's just sort of stuck here. And his team doesn't have anyone who can rotate into him, right? Like, maybe his Mesmer can rotate into him every now and then, but they're otherwise engaged. They're always otherwise engaged, and that right now isn't very good. We saw the neutralization go through, by the way, just as I rotated off. So it is flat across the map. This is going to be a very long game. Only 5 minutes left on the clock. Blue is pressured in two ways right now. They're pressured in terms of getting back on the map, but they're also pressured in terms of a timeout. They've got a lot to catch up, with red on the cusp of 400 points, and they're only at 150. If we see that this blue support goes down here, all may be vain, guys. He resustains well enough. Blue secures full cap over at Windmill. So that's excellent. Can Blue win their 1v1 over here against the Warrior? It's going to be really tricky if he can actually do this. Let's watch. He's got a reasonable amount of life force. No need to give him the might there, but whatever. It's obviously going to look to use his torch skills. This duel comes down to them being used well. One was cancel cast. Does he get it this time? He needs his life force from that. He gets a little bit. I think the Warrior may have this. Resistance comes up again. Look at all this resistance. Needs a corrupt on the F2. Instead chooses the bailout. I think that the red's going to have that fairly comfortably here. Back towards mids. Blackjack being pressured super hard. Yeah, we did hit Blackjack. He actually manages to bail out really nicely there. What did he bail out with?
Red team wins a capture point.
Still being pressured. Blue hitting this super hard. If Blue can get Blackjack down before he resustains, he's so low. Using the fountain beautifully. 340 health. Waste of of the cleanse there. Just spam those autos. Get those out. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here. And the blue team has been baited into running all the way over here when what they really wanted was decap. Finally, they get it. Kevin secures the decap. Bit of a mistake here, I think, from the red warrior allowing that. I mean, he was trying to afford pills to Blackjack, and maybe actually that was 100% necessary. The fact that they didn't go down is more important than the decap going through, because all they have to do is sustain here. Only 3 minutes left on the game. Blackjack pushes back towards mid. All he needs to do is hold this neutral, because for as long as that windmill is still in his team's possession, they're going to win this. Blue has almost zero chance here, just because of the timeout, and they've got such a steep hill to climb. JB taking immense pressure. His support is not in a position to help him because his support is over here alone at this node.
Just like that.
So as soon as these 5-round Scourges are split up, it's not very good. Monika's the next one to stagger into mids, but he knows he can't get on that. And I think with that double cap at the end of the game here, guys, we're going to see that red does secure the win. But who knows? I missed the warrior going down on windmill. Is this just... So, listen, is this that I'm bad at this? Or is it that... I mean, because my temptation now is when people say, oh, you missed the one play I cared about. It's a bit frustrating because it's like, I don't know whether I can... Can I be reasonably expected to get every single one? Can I show the red warriors build? Sure.
Red team got a capture point.
Trip cap comes in for red and they're going to win. But I'm going to miss plays. Is it fair to... Was it an easy... I only care about you being upset if it was something I could have reasonably seen. Could I have reasonably caught the red warrior going down? I'm almost permanently looking at the minimap, guys. I'm almost permanently. So looking at demo with Traveler. So there you go. That was a cool final. A hard-fought match. 1 minute left on the clock. I mean, we can tell pretty comfortably why red won that, right? They just were more consistently winning the large engagements. Massive store here from blue. Blue had a better opening, though. I just think that if you field double Necro, it seems like it's so painful in terms of, like, if any of the mid-fights don't go decisively in your favor. If a team loses... If you're against double Necro and you lose the mid-fight, but a couple of your guys bail out without dying, like, it's so punishing for the team fielding the Necros because they just can't rotate around, right? Like, look at how long God of Wind Trade was creating opportunities for his team in those long-ass 1v1s, but getting no pluses, right? Like, I'd rather a comp that can actually take advantage of those instead of just these brutally long engagements that stay stalled forever but are never swung by a plus. I think this comp is, like, just so static, so immobile. That's my reading of why they lose anyway. But yeah, as far as missing stuff, I think people are just pointing out stuff you missed. As I said before, there's no way you will catch everything, especially not when you're solo casting. Yeah, I mean, I do want to improve it, obviously. There's other little things, though, that I'm still, like, learning that I need to get better with. Just, like, literally saying blue team when I mean red team, or red team when I mean blue team, or, like, terminology and stuff. So, Butter Peanut. I like it when in chat people talk about things they saw in the game. Like Butter Peanut, they're saying you could see him doing damage on dodge and the Scourge just face rolling. Like, I never called that out or even particularly noticed that while I was casting. But if you guys can see stuff and there's like conversation fuel based on the footage that we got, that's awesome. As long as there's conversation fuel. So you guys can be like, oh yeah, did you notice this? Did you notice this? I feel like there won't be much conversation fuel if I spend too long in hovering over the cam or moving too quickly. Casting is good, but I feel like it should have been mentioned because the Red Ranger was solo on Windmill, taking down the Blue Warrior, and the other 2 points were contested decapped at the time. Random Viewer 226 says, gonna have to choose where to focus sometimes. What is that comment? Every second of the cast is me choosing where to focus. What do you mean sometimes? Every moment is like a panicky question and struggle as to whether I'm choosing the right area. Something I think you could do is talk about what blue team needed to try to change and come back in the middle when it was like 300 to 150. Yeah, I didn't do that on that game, but every other rung of the tournament I did that, right? That's the fun part. You're doing great. Keep it going. Any game with multiple objectives suffers from this. Yeah, it does, absolutely. Oh, by the way, thank you for the host with the 15 viewer host there. So, next things on my mind, by the way, guys, is we've got some other overlay stuff I'd really love to do. Oh, thanks for the host, Blackjack, as well. I hope you enjoyed my casting of your team going through that tourney. I'd love opinions from the people who are actually playing as well. That would be cool. So, by the way, other things that I'm doing, we're going to have some more UI stuff, hopefully. Again, that's dependent on CVPCS. Going to look at audio, and then I'm going to start looking at... probably instant replays. That's like a whole world that we can do. Where if I can find out ways to do quick instant replays, that would be really fun. So in between rungs of the tournament, we can do that. That could be kind of good. I think having 2 casters is good, but you need like a lot of good synergy and like experience of doing it together, so you know when and how to dip in and who takes the reins and that. Like my little experience doing it with Jebro on his stream the other day was actually really, really, really challenging. Found it kind of horrible. What did you guys think about the bars now that the UI is fully set up? I'd love some feedback on that as well. Did these feel more useful compared to previous streams now that we have the little bit that shows where they're growing to, right? Do these feel like a lot? But my gut tells me that this is like way better now. Was this way more entertaining? How often did you guys find... And type in full sentences so that I know what you're responding to as well. How often did you guys find you were looking at this and finding it like useful to get an instant read of the game without having to like look at the maths or whatever? You didn't notice the bars. They're quite dark. Are they quite dark? What? Didn't look at it too much. They're useless. Oh, we're getting horrible feedback on it now. Roy says, I like the bars. I was trying to figure out what they were. I will use them next time, though. Yeah, it's just a representation of the teams as they grow up. I didn't even notice that there were special bars. Well, what I want to do is I want to put team names over them as well, eventually. Yeah, I think picture-in-picture is, like, probably hell to produce, but also not necessarily... Like, from, I don't know, when I studied film, one of the modules I did was learning very much about, like, how to well execute picture-in-picture and its limitations, and I think doing too much picture-in-picture is probably a really bad idea. Yeah, the bars are... Jeff Schaefer, you're right. Like, the bars are definitely more, like, about new people. They're nice, but the blue one can be hard to see against dark backgrounds. Is this a dark background? What's the darkest map? Probably forest, right? This is, like, the darkest map. Is that hard to see? I'm looking at the preview right now. I don't think it's hard to see even remotely, is it? How are you seeing anything? If you can't see the difference between the blue bar and the rest of the thing, what? Yeah, well, so basically, it comes down to CVPCS, right? But what I want to do is I want to be able to basically load in. I want to press B and press a hotkey. And the hotkey screenshots and saves images of this. So you can see the name of the team and their icon. And then I can have OBS hook up dynamically to that image, which replaces itself every match, every time I press the hotkey. And so what you do is you start the cast, you press B, and you just press the hotkey. And then what that does is that automatically throws the team name in front of the bars. So when people queue as guilds in the automated tourneys, their guild name appears up there. And when people queue just with the random names, they also appear there. So you can always tell like which team. And you don't have to fiddle around with it. It's just one button instead of like messing about with it for ages. That's the idea, but I have to wait for him to respond. But I'd really like to do that as another thing. I think it's an inevitability then in terms of getting the footage people want. Like, I'd rather watch a side node 1v1 versus a Scourge Firebrand 2v2, but that would be more meaningful and everyone else has their own fights. Yeah, like, this is what I'm wrestling with. What is more interesting to watch? Is Firebrand Scourge versus Firebrand Scourge actually that interesting to watch? I've had some people tell me yes, I've had some people tell me no, because it's too attritive or whatever. I think in general, the answer is to watch the playmakers, right? But if you look at the compositions that were playing the finals there, they were very stationary. The most we had was like Mesmers, but it's not like we had a DP Thief rotating around making quick pluses everywhere, right? We didn't really have that. So when you have three very stationary engagements going on across the map, like there's a 2v2, there's a 1v1, and there's like a staggered fight going on here, it's like, I guess at that point I should just watch what I find most interesting, and that's what I've been doing. But I do that more from a standpoint of, oh, I wonder how Druid v Spellbreaker goes at the moment. Let's watch. But then we're watching the 1v1 for too long, and you don't get the map, right? Or then I'm looking too much at the skills being used in the 1v1, and then I miss like some kind of cool rotation. And Portal make things really, really, really fucking annoying to watch. If there's too many portals around, another reason why all these Mesmers are running around. Portal makes it like really... It's easy to lose my balance and identify where I am in the game. Big versus small minimap has to have been better, that one, right? Like, I didn't leave it up. I don't think for a single game I left it up too long. And I think I could draw your attention to who owns what nodes very quickly and easily. Like, if there was 3 engagements going on at once, I don't want to be like, oh, let's watch this one, no, let's watch this one, now let's watch this one. Oh, I didn't realize the eyes go automatic from here. That's excellent. I should utilize that more. I didn't realize that this was like a perfect camera setup. Forest is pretty good for that then. I'll slowly get better at the eyes as well. I wonder whether it's just an inevitability that people will end up hating someone casting this game because they miss a crucial play somewhere. It's like, how could you miss that? It's so obvious, right? I feel like the longer you do it, eventually there's going to be some high-profile monthly or something going on, or like a UGO or whatever, and you miss like a key play and you'll just get hated on. I feel like that's got to be an inevitability, right? As a third party watching in, I think the best option is to pick the fights that swing the match, which is easier said than done. Yeah, and everyone's going to have a different opinion on which is the most pivotal fight as well. Which means I have to be like a halfway decent player. I wonder if the best way to do a duo commentary is the guy holding the map and the camera. That guy watches broad movements and is basically only watching minimap movement, while the other guy provides the bulk of commentary and he's observing skill usage and stuff and constantly commentating about that. Then you'd have a good balance, and you allow the guy with the map to interrupt the guy doing the skill commentary. That's probably a really good mix. Very clear lines of who commentates what. It's easy for when someone dips in or out. I think that way you get one mind focused purely on one aspect and the other mind on the other. That's what you and Jebro settled into doing? Yeah, there's other things you can do, Roy, as well, by the way. You can have both commentators having control of the same client at once. And I'm not talking about account sharing. I'm talking about stuff like Moonlight and NVIDIA Experience and stuff. You could do that, and what you could do is you could have the person commentating the skill bars has control of any kind of player control, while the guy with the map goes to all the eyes. You could do that. I reckon that's the best way to do it. Anyway, aside from the people saying that the bars were useless, I quite like them, and I thought that the what about the other fact as well? Did anyone notice that when we spectate a blue guy, we get a blue overlay, and when we spectate a red guy, we get a red one? Did you guys notice that in the moment? They're not major things; they're just little building blocks that build to a better experience for the viewer. That's kind of the point. Hello, Naruturo. That's it though, guys. That's all I wanted to do. Just practice that. I've got other things to do for the day. So thanks everyone for watching. Do check out some of the other streamers, and maybe I'll do EU or NA Prime later on today. I don't know. Next tournament is going to be Grant's game in 4 hours. Yeah, which is definitely, this is an EU Prime here. 8:15 at night. EU Prime. That would be a good daily. That's definitely a good one to watch. Grant's game, guys. Keep an eye on Twitch around that time. I might practice another one, or someone else might do it. But yeah, cheers everyone. Hope you enjoyed. More feedback is always good. And I'll catch you later.